This is WVTM 13. Breaking news is happening right now.
There's a shooting right now. Right in front of me. There's a shooter right in front of me. Bro, oh my God. Oh my God.
From triumph to tragedy, videos continue to pour in hours after a mass shooting following the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl victory parade. Thanks for joining us tonight at 10. I'm Guy Rawlings.
And I'm Sherry Falk. A woman has died, and of those 22 people injured, at least 8 victims are children. The shooting happened at a rally outside of Union Station. Kansas City Chiefs players, the governors of Missouri and Kansas, and hundreds of thousands of people were there when shots rang out, unleashing complete and utter chaos. Kansas City's mayor said he and too many more became part of a statistic of too many Americans who have experienced a mass shooting.
We had over 800 officers there, staffed, situated all around Union Station today. We had security in any number of places, eyes on top of buildings and beyond. And there still is a risk to people. Parades, rallies, schools, movies, it seems like almost nothing is safe.
Police arrested 3 people in connection to the shooting. Even in the midst of all of the chaos, people still found the courage to try and find the people responsible.
Jessica Perez from our station in Omaha spoke with one of the men who tackled a suspect.
This was Paul Contreras' first Super Bowl parade. He said everybody was just starting to leave when they thought they heard fireworks, but it turned out to be gunfire. That's when he saw a man running and another chasing him, yelling, "Somebody stop him." So he did.
I didn't hesitate. It was just do it. So I went to go tackle him, and another gentleman did the same thing. And as I'm tackling him, I see his weapon either fall out of his hand or out of his sleeve, because he was wearing a long jacket, or like a Carhartt. So when I seen that hit the ground, I'm like, oh, you know, we got to take this guy down. And so, like I said, I did, and another good Samaritan did, and we held him down.
Contreras says the few seconds they waited for police felt like forever. He says the guy fought back the whole time, but Contreras knew he couldn't let him go. He says the experience won't stop him from attending other events in the future.
You can't be scared, you know. Not saying that you want it to happen, but there's always that chance, you know. I mean, it could happen at work, you know, anywhere, the grocery store. So this happened to be the Super Bowl parade.
Contreras describes the man he tackled as young, but says he didn't get a good look at him because he was wearing a hoodie and was face down. His whole family is still in shock that this happened. Reporting in Omaha, Jessica Perez.
To keep up with this developing story, be sure to head to our website or download the WVTM 13 app.
Had a little taste of spring out there on this Valentine's Day, and some of the flowers already blooming. The daffodils out in front of the Old Alexandria Post Office in Calhoun County. Wilsonville got to 70 today. Hoover got to 68. Birmingham Shuttlesworth International 66, the official high. We basically doubled the temperature, going from 33 this morning to 66 this afternoon. Coleman made it into the low 60s, and right now over East Alabama, it's in the upper 30s in Ohatchee and Gadsden, 37 Oneonta, 39 in Pell City, 45 in Birmingham, 44 in Centerville. We'll see some scattered frost in a few spots early tomorrow morning as lows dip back into the mid-30s yet again, mainly over East and North Alabama. Even in Pratt City and Center Point, Calera, Hoover, southwest into Bibb County, around Tuscaloosa and over toward Aliceville and Pickensville. It's looking more like upper 30s and low 40s. But then watch this. Tomorrow afternoon, that looks pretty good. Just about where we were today, if not a degree or two warmer. Lots of mid to upper 60s on the board going into your Thursday afternoon. Here's how it's going to work out, though. Chilly early, but that sunshine really works on the warmth quickly. We get to 50 by 9 a.m., mid 60s after lunchtime through about 3 o'clock, a mostly clear sky. But later in the day, we will start to see some clouds building in from the west as we get set for some wet weather by Friday night. I'll show you when that gets here and tell you about the cold air that rushes in for the weekend coming up. Sherry and Guy.
John, thanks. Well, after a renewed push by Birmingham police for answers in a deadly triple shooting in December, the mother of one of the victims is praying she'll get justice.
19-year-old Kayla Hall was one of 2 people killed when a gunman opened fire at the car she was in. WVTM 13's Gladys Batista joins us now live from Birmingham with more. And Gladys, I imagine this was a pretty emotional interview.
Yeah, good evening, Guy and Sherry. Charlotte Macon tells me that her daughter, Kayla, was the youngest of her children, and she says that she still can't believe that she is gone. Still, she says that she is thankful for the police department's effort in continuing to push this case forward, put it in front of people, so hopefully they can get some information to put somebody behind bars. Charlotte Macon describes her 19-year-old daughter, Kayla Hall, as a selfless spirit that was taken too soon.
Kayla was the most beautiful, angelic spirit. She loved others more than she loved herself. And she always did for others more than she did for herself.
It's something Megan now says she cherishes as a memory. Birmingham police say on December 13th, Hall, 25-year-old Keithan Parker, and another woman were in a car on 32nd Place North in the Norwood Bottoms area when someone opened fire. BPD says the 911 calls began coming in just after 8:30 that night. Officers later found one woman shot at this gas station on 12th Avenue North and rushed her to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. And inside this bullet-ridden car, they also found Hall and Parker shot, but both were pronounced dead at the scene. Investigators later learned the lone survivor drove the car to the gas station for help after what they now call a targeted attack.
I'm just still in disbelief that all this has happened, and I just know that she was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Now grieving the loss of her youngest daughter, Megan described her gratitude for the police department's newest call for information to solve the case. However, she also says she'd like to see more from elected officials to stop the senseless violence.
I would like them to make better changes to the gun laws that they have. It's been nothing but killings here.
And now, as for those responsible for her pain, she has this message.
I just pray that God have mercy on their souls, and I forgive them. And I just hope that they come forward and do what's right.
And like you said, Sherry, it was a really emotional interview at times. She cried, but she says that she is hopeful that she will get the justice that her family wants and that Kayla deserves. Anyone with information is asked to call Birmingham Police Department's homicide unit or call Crime Stoppers to remain anonymous. Live in Birmingham for you tonight, I'm Gladys Bautista, Wvtm 13.
The former Assistant of State Representative John Rogers is expected to plead guilty to multiple felonies at the end of the month. According to court documents, Vari Kindle is expected to plead guilty to wire fraud, conspiracy, and obstruction of justice on February 26th in Tuscaloosa. She will also be required to pay nearly $250,000 in restitution. She, alongside Rogers and former Representative Fred Plump, were charged last year in connection to a scheme to funnel money from the Jefferson County Community Service Fund to a youth baseball league. Rogers maintains his innocence. Happening tomorrow, Pell City police are set to announce the arrests of 2 people in connection to a 2022 murder near a Waffle House. Rebecca Poe was run over and killed while confronting people who were breaking into cars. Police are set to announce the arrests at a news conference tomorrow at 1.
Today, a Blount County jury convicted a man of sexually abusing 2 children for more than a decade. The jury took just 20 minutes to convict Raymond Putman of raping the children since they were 12 and 8 years old. He was convicted on 21 counts, including sodomy and rape of a child, and set to be sentenced next month. The countdown to Super Tuesday continues. Alabamians will get their chance to make their voices heard when they head to the primary polls in March. Tonight, we're hearing from Alabama's most senior congressman who's looking for a 14th term in the House.
When Robert Aderholt came to Congress in 1997, he says that he never expected to see 2 presidents impeached, multiple wars in the Middle East, or having to navigate a financial crisis or a pandemic. Aderholt has a reputation of being a staunch conservative. He tells us that he continues to find common ground with his Democratic colleagues whenever he can.
But we can find some common ground, and that's what I try to do. And obviously a lot of people have the same goals that we have, they just want to get there in different ways. And so if we can try to figure out what those ultimately their goals are, you know, I'm all for trying to work together. And there needs to be more of it.
To view our entire interview with Robert Aderholt and others, just head on over to the free Wvtm 13 app. In South Alabama, two lawmakers that were once allies are now rivals following a Supreme Court order to change Alabama's congressional map. Barry Moore has represented much of the Wiregrass, or District 2, since 2021. But the new congressional map has changed district lines to include more minority voters in the area. In order to stay in Washington, he'll now have to win the District 1 seat that's currently held by Jerry Carl. A recent Montgomery research poll shows that Moore has an edge over Carl. But the Federal Election Commission shows that Carl has almost double the amount of money in his war chest. If you haven't registered to vote, you'll need to do that as soon as possible. The deadline to hand deliver registration forms is Friday. If you're mailing them in, they must be postmarked by Saturday, and the last day to register online is next Monday.
Today, people around the world commemorated the beginning of Lent, and a local church was on standby to help. Pastors at Trinity United Methodist in Homewood held a drive-through Ash Wednesday, adding ease and convenience to the traditional ritual. Ash Wednesday marks the beginning of the season of Lent, where a person chooses to give something up for 40 days leading up to Easter. While Valentine's Day may be a joyous holiday for couples, it can be tough out there for the single gals. Tonight, relationship expert Joe Lockett made an appearance at a special Galentine's Girls Night at 1918 Catering. Lockett and life coach Keisha Sharp Jefferson led an honest and open discussion about relationships. They say one of the key factors in making love last is patience.
So you got to figure out who you are now as a woman or a man getting back into the dating scene. So it's different. And so taking your time, for me, I'm just going to say taking your time and getting to talk to somebody. Don't be so quick to go on the first date. Talk on the phone a little bit, do a little chatting.
They also say always do your research when it comes to online dating or if someone slides into your DMs. Coming up, a lot on the line as the Auburn Tigers hold home court against the South Carolina Gamecocks. Highlights from Neville Arena coming up in sports.
And a new statue of civil rights icon Rosa Parks now on display in the capital city. What other trailblazers could soon be joining her?
And it looks like Hoover's new music amphitheater could finally receive the green light. We take a look at what's been holding up the highly anticipated project after the break. You're watching WVTM 13 News.